You're such an asshole.
So if you're wondering who those two girls are, those were the Barbie twins. Those were from a previous era of women where they were thin, attractive, and hot and had no tattoos. Women used to look like that. Admittedly, not all of them, but that was kind of the goal back then. Sorry you missed the 80s, but you knew better. You voted for socialism and not just the money part. It was like, we're going to redistribute the looks. And then you're like, how are we going to read? Well, it's going to be like the finances with socialism. Oh, yeah. How's that? Well, there won't be any wealth produced and we can't redistribute it anyway. So everyone's just going to go to the lowest common denominator. We're going to be piss poor, starving. Some of us will get shot and everyone is going to be atrociously ugly. We have requested. If you have requests, you could go to assholeconsulting.com. Cappy, I'm at a crossroads in my life. I need help to figure out if I should spend some time going all in on my business that I have been working on. I'm a youngish American male. You have a degree. It's not in that field, not necessarily worthless because there's a job at the end of it. It just doesn't really pay all that well, I'd imagine. And I worked in the field for numerous years as a thing. Then I taught myself how to code and ended up working at a company that does software stuff for the industry that I worked in. So this may line it up for you because you do have the expertise in that field. And then you have the programming knowledge. So if there's a guy to do it, in other words, I'm encouraging you. This isn't so far a bad position to be in. Shortly after I got the high-paying tech job, I moved to a low-cost-of-living country in a place where I still reside today. Yeah, all these interesting things about you, you'd be able to be identified. So we'll just say you live in a nice, warm area. This has allowed me to stack up a significant pool of cash. As I'm sure you have seen, many tech companies have been laying off coworkers. The company I worked at was no exception. My company just did a couple rounds of mass layoffs, and I was caught in the layoffs. The company was very profitable. I have seen the books, but the parent company was struggling, so they cut overhead even in the profitable child companies. Oh, good. So you could keep some losers afloat. While I was working in my job, I had also been working on building out my own software product for the field you're in, but for a different area. There's no conflict of interest because the practice areas are different. Well, yeah, and they fired you. Well, they didn't fire you, they laid you off. Big difference. So unless you signed a non-compete, well, you're aware. There's no conflict of interest because the practice areas are different. This software product I have been working on myself for the past 2 years is now almost complete. This leads me to my question: is now an okay time to go all in on my business software idea, or should I go all in on looking for another job right away? On one hand, I want to go all in on my business idea. I qualify for unemployment, which covers more than twice of my monthly expenses. Unemployment lasts for 6 months, after which point I would have to start dipping into savings. I estimate that I could live here for a few years before I would absolutely have to head back home. However, I wouldn't cut it that close. I would give myself a total of 12 months before I head back to find another job. On the other hand, I'm worried that the economy might get really bad over the next year or so. I'm worried about that if I don't snag up a job right now, I might not be able to find anything in 12 months from now. I appreciate any sites you provide. Best regards. All right, so here's what you're going to do. You're going to do both. And I understand the nuance of your question where, hey, I could collect unemployment. All right. Let's separate the here and now for the moment. The end goal is you having a full-time job and you're pursuing the software company at the same time. You may have to say, no, I can't sign a non-compete, or I'm working on another project, or you work remotely. They just won't know. You may have to head back home to find a job, but and I don't know exactly what it's going to take. If you're almost done with the software, you're not out of the woods by any stretch of the imagination, but that's the biggest part. I would go all in until you find another job. That's what I would do. So collect your unemployment, all right? Give it a month, okay? And the reason I say don't immediately start looking for another job is because I want you to use this month. Fine, collect your unemployment. You bust your ass off and do everything you got to do to at least lay down the foundation and the structure of you actually having a company. So boring, tedious shit like setting up the LLC, establishing a bank account, kind of things like that. All the work to finish it. I don't know. Is there some testing involved in it? I don't know. uh, Start calling up contacts. It's you got more than full-time work just getting this product to launch. I think a month will allow you to tackle it fully. But then by the end of that month, you're going to have a good idea of the scope of the project you just bit off. Like, okay, can I get it? Can I work a full-time job and do this as well? I think you can because again, I don't know the product, but nothing is so like you got to do 80 hours a week to this thing and nothing but this thing. No, it could be like a college degree. It could be amortized out. You could get your college degree in 8 years. You do that part time. But for now, yeah, if you got unemployment, I'd use this as the opportunity to, okay, balls to the wall, going all in just to get her off the ground. See if you could achieve cruising speed or do all the big major projects in the way so that you could get it to a point where you could manage the business part time if you needed to. That's what I would do. But yeah, and in other words, I can't tell you what you're going to do a month from now, but a month from now, you have a pretty good idea. Like, okay, whoa, there was a lot more involved here than I thought, or wow, it's not going to take that much time. I got it. Sometimes it happens, especially with self-employment, because you're not dealing with some fucking prick middle manager or executive types who are just dumber than shit. Like, oh, I got the solution to pop, pop, pop. You plug it in. Hey, it works. Why was that so easy? Oh, I didn't have a bunch of 40 something MBA dude bros telling me what to do. But yeah, because of the unemployment, you got a great opportunity to focus in. Then maybe take another month. I wouldn't go more than 2 months. And then yeah, start applying for jobs. Get some kind of job because yeah, it might be 12 months from now. You get 6 months employ. I wouldn't risk that. And you know what? At the speed of corporate America, you could start applying for jobs now. There's nothing going to hurt you to start the employment process. Talk to some recruiters, see if there's something out there. You never know. There might be an amazing job that pays a lot of money. So there ain't no reason to wait to throw that line in the water, but you don't have to follow up on it immediately. Or you say, yeah, I'm taking them today. Yeah, I need a month off to like recover and recoup. And I'm got to up. Great excuse. Great excuse. I took this time, this downtime to do boring stuff, set up my will, get a colonoscopy. Well, you're too young for that. Some medical work, just all that back office stuff. So I got doctor's appointments. I gotta go talk to a lawyer, and so that's what I've been. What have you been doing? And I'm not gonna be. I got a bunch of appointments at least a month out, and that'd be looking to be reasonable and rational. Meanwhile, you're tinkering on your laptop. And then you will have a much better idea in a month, certainly two. Where like, oh wow, I can. You'll be able to judge like, oh, this is going to grow legs. I already got clients, ideally, or well, this is way too much. Yeah, I'm going to have to get a job. And you can always turn job offers down. Like someone gives you a job offer on day 3. Well, hopefully you lied, like I told you to about setting up your will and living will and establishing your estate. They'll wait for a month. And you know what? Oh, geez. I wonder if you should be loyal to employers and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take the job starting in a month or two. Oh, yeah, sorry. You give a bunch of big contracts in your new company. Oh, yeah, sorry, better deal came along. Bye. That's unprofessional. That's unprofessional. Tell everyone at the next layoff rounds. Okay, fine. Yeah, but you're gonna have to do both. I'm forecasting because unless you got a really great, clever software, all the marketing and everything that's going on, I forecast in a couple months' time, you're gonna have a job. Hopefully, it's remote, so you can stay where you are. And at night, like every other entrepreneur, you're gonna have to do both until your entrepreneurial idea starts generating enough money, dude. I I think I spent more time doing both than I did the self-employment thing, which barely can we call what I do entrepreneurship. 18 to when did I 18 to it's been 10 years. And even then I worked security a little bit, but let's remove that. So from 18 to 37? No, it's been 12 years. 18 to 37. That's 20. Oh, that's a lot of time. No, that's not 20. Why can't I do math? 2 plus 7, that's 19 years. 19 years I did both. And I've only been doing one self-employment for 12 years. It takes you're going to have to do both a long time before, well, maybe not, hopefully not for you, but yeah, just expect to do both. And then all of a sudden you'll wake up one day like especially in a low cost area. So you may not have to go 19 years and you're not as dumb as me majoring in stupid shit. So I think it'll be come up sooner, like 3 years, but you're definitely going to want to have that job. All right. Any questions? Oh, I got a couple here. Dre, $2, but Cappy, both require 2 times the energy and effort. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Dr. Paradox, $2. And more importantly, Dre, they require height. Doc, are you tall? Cappy Lover, Big Mike, 6969, who's not been seen in the same room as Hatton Clogs. Just pointed out. $2. BU, but Cappy, how without effort, anything but work? Thank you, Cappy's Lover, Big Mike. Sam Whiskey, most American name in America, $10. Hey, Louder. Oh, okay, here we go. Hey, Loudermilk, have you heard of the right-wing comedian called Nicholas DeSanto? You'll enjoy it. Okay, I'll have to check it out. I might. Oh, that reminds me, though. I'm going to be gone flying across the Pacific, and I'm going to be gone for 3 days. I think I'll shut down shop on the 27th. Because I'll be going into airports and staying, and then I got to adjust for time zones. So I will not be a happy Cappy. Hey, Rob, where have you been, man? It's good to see you. Oh, it's good to see you. All right. So that's it. Link below if you got questions. Hang on. One more super chat. $2. Can you consult where to go in Glacier National Park? That depends. There's a lot of lakes to hike around. They're pretty. Lake McDonald, that's the big lake. That's fine too. Ahern Pass, which if you really want to be rugged about it, sure. Sunset Road, a road to the sunset, you could drive across that. I've only been there once. I'm trying to remember. Was it Finch Peak I climbed? Lake Mary Lake or something? Glacier Natural, it's basically an oval, roughly speaking, and it's mountain range. And if you can hike over, so there's a road more or less goes around in a circle, like East Glacier. What is it? Louise Lake? What the hell is it? It's been years, 10, 20 years almost 20 years. But if you're in good enough shape and you're okay with altitude sickness, get over. So you get a shuttle, drops you off at one place, and there's different trails that go over. I mean, you could go east to west. I guess it's up to you. But I would go from east to west because the sun will follow you and keep you warm. You don't want to be in the shadow on the east side of the mountains when the sun's setting on the west, assuming it's cold. But yeah, I that was when I was just starting. That's the first real national park I went to. But yeah, I forgot the name of it's a very pinnacle looking one. I'm pretty sure it's Finch Peak. Hang on, let me just look it up. Finch Peak. Highest trailhead in the Sierra. Nope, that's a Sierra. Finch Peak Glacier National Park. A lot of scree on top of it. Finch Lake. Finch Peak. Finch Peak. No, that's Alaska. I've climbed a Finch Peak. Maybe it's not in Rocky Mountain National or Glacier National Park. Yeah. You'll probably know more than me. Sam Whiskey, $10 again. Cappy. Also check out Frank Sinazzi. Okay, I will. Alex Patino, a Trucker and Latino agent in the field. But Cappy, why can't I have both? You can have both. You could choose to have both. You just have to put in twice the work. And guess what? You'll have probably 4 to 8 times the success because so few people do both. No one gets successful doing one. I say unto you, why not have both? Barbie twins are hot. They were hot. I'm wondering what they look like now. They're probably in their 60s now. All right, that's it. Link below. The Dad You Never Had. It's a course on Teachable for those of you. Well, why should I do both? And then how not to become a millennial. That's also linked there below. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.